Hello everyone, welcome to Firestar Tarot. I'm Empress Egypt. Don't forget, while I have you here, to like, subscribe, comment, and share, do all that good stuff. Let's get into this video. So I went to a local shop here in the downtown Houston area called the Magic Cauldron, and I wanted to add a few more decks to my collection with a budget of $100. The Magic Cauldron has such a wide variety. Also with demo boxes, I was able to spend a lot of time, but I finally narrowed it down to 3, and I got all 3 decks with tax for a total of $89.69. So mission accomplished. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the decks. When it comes to purchasing new decks, I do like to cleanse them before I even open them up. So let's go ahead and cleanse the decks real quick. Today I'm using Palo Santo, which I purchased from the Magic Cauldron as well. When it comes to the brass dish that I am actually storing my Palo Santo in, I purchased this at another metaphysical shop in Old Springtown. If you're in the Spring, Texas area, definitely check out Spirit Quest. All right, now that we're done cleansing the decks, let's go ahead and get into the first one. This is the Universal Tarot by Roberto De Angelis, and this is the professional edition. This deck was the most expensive out of all 3, with the grand total of $34.95 without tax. It comes with 78 high-quality cards for reading tarot, as well as a book with instructions. Interesting enough, this was the last deck for me to actually touch and put my hands on before purchasing. And it was so weird because it was kind of random. My friend had picked up the deck and said, "What about these?" And when she opened the box, they were huge cards. And I was like, oh my God, I'm already in love. So very interesting. When I started looking through the deck, I noticed it had a lot of modern and contemporary realistic aspects to this deck. So I'm excited to be able to share this deck with you guys. Now, it does come with, again, an instruction book. This instruction book has 128 pages in it, including the history behind tarot, the major arcana, the minor arcana, with all the explanations for each card, and in 6 different languages. Now, if you're not in the Houston area or around the Houston area, you can definitely purchase this online. I will put a link down below for you guys in the description box, and I'll also insert an image now. I've never personally purchased from this website, and I'm not affiliated with this website in any way. So again, just kind of giving you fair warning. Again, I purchased mine in store. This was just one of the results that I received when I searched Google for this tarot deck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cards themselves. I'm only going to be going through the major arcana with you guys, and then we'll randomly go through the deck afterwards. So again, I really love the modern and contemporary artwork. Again, there's such a realistic aspect to this tarot deck. It's beyond intriguing to me, and yet at the same time, it's just so beautiful when it comes to the illustration, the colors, the choices of colors. I absolutely love this deck. Now, this deck also contains all the elements of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. It contains all 22 major arcana and the minor arcana with the 4 suits. This deck is literally a dream come true for anyone who is trying to use divination. Since this is the professional edition, these cards are pretty large. Now, you can purchase this deck in a smaller form. Just take that into consideration. I have found with bigger cards that they are harder to shuffle, but from experience, they are longer lasting. They are more durable. So let's go ahead and try this deck out. Let's shuffle it and see how it works. So with larger decks, I find it easier to do a side shuffle. It just allows for easier control. For being bigger cards, I do have very easy control with these, so I'm very excited to be able to use them. Now, the consistency of the cardstock is very thick, not too thick. You can still move them. They are bendable. Retail price in the United States online is $33.20. The next deck I purchased was the Tarot of Mystical Moments. I purchased mine in store for $25.95. However, you can find this deck on Amazon for $23.36. Now, that price does not include shipping and handling. However, if you have Prime, it should be fairly cheap. Now, this deck comes in a nice sturdy box, which, like I said, is great for traveling purposes. It also comes with a book with the explanation to each one of the cards. So this deck does have the major and minor arcana with a total of 77 cards. Now, my book is stuck at the edge right here. It does look like something happened during shipping, or if not shipping, just maybe moving around at the shop itself. My actual box was not damaged. Somehow it did get on this booklet. So I don't know how that worked, but it didn't get on the tarot deck itself. So let's go ahead and unwrap this bad boy and get into this deck. Now, one thing that's already catching my eye is that this deck does have the gilded edges. It is silver gilded. That's always a nice extra bonus for me. It makes everything look pretty in the readings. Now, just like the other deck, I'm only going to go through the major arcana, and then we'll just kind of take a quick skim through with the other cards. Now, this deck is by Katrin Weltz Stein. The story behind this deck is absolutely amazing. She was actually inspired by her grandmother, who used to read cards in exchange for food shortly after the World War II. This really piqued her curiosity, and so in 2016, she decided to actually design her first tarot deck. It was a long-time dream of hers, and so I am super excited to tap into this deck. One of my favorite things so far is how this artist really captured the wide variety of colors from the masculine to the feminine. It's just absolutely beautiful how she really touched just all the different aspects of life, from creativity to inspiration to passion to wealth to value. It's just an absolutely stunning deck, and I'm super excited to use this in future readings. This deck not only includes the 22 major arcana, but it includes the minor arcana as well, with all 4 elements beautifully illustrated. The artwork is absolutely stunning in this deck. The depth, the pops of color. This will definitely become one of my favorite go-to decks. Now, even though she was inspired by the Raider White Tarot deck, she did find a way to change it and make it her own. There are literally no wands, cups, swords, or pentacles in this deck, but the symbols in her cards do appear in multiples equal to the number. Now, when it comes to handling the cards, they do have a gloss finish, so they are going to slip around a little bit easier. They move around very nicely, and again, the images are just absolutely stunning. So let's see how they shuffle. So the cardstock is thinner, but not too thin. It's definitely a durable cardstock. Now again, they do slide around, but that could make it easier for spirit to speak and the energy to really flow. Man, there's so much emotions in this deck. I'm literally getting serious vibes. If you're interested in following the creator, I'll plug in her Facebook link down below. Apologies, fam, but my voice is going to sound a little bit different. This is an old video I had never finished editing. So back to that deck, I have worked with it. It's an amazing deck. Retail value is $25.95 on that site. Again, no affiliation, and I've never purchased from that site. So let's go ahead and get into the next deck. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce the first name, but this is the Kipper deck. The reason I purchased this deck is because I had actually seen it used in other readers' channels, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Now, I love this part of this box. It has the magnetic close lid. This is a smaller deck, and of course, it comes with a pamphlet just as well. Now, this is a thicker pamphlet, so it is more like a smaller, thin book, but it's super perfect for the size of the box. It's easy to store, and of course, if you need to travel, it's there. This deck as well has the silver gilded edges. Apologies if I pronounce this name wrong, but this is by Ciro Marchetti. Now, what's interesting about this deck is that it actually tells the story of workers and the wealthy during the Industrial Revolution. The cards are numbered 1 through 39, and each card has a rich image to incorporate the stories during the 19th century. Ciro definitely brought this deck back to life with stunning imagery, and again, rich detail. I'm super excited to use this deck. Interesting fact about Ciro, he's actually won 5 Photoshop Guru Awards. He's actually really pretty dope. I'll also plug in his Facebook information or any information I can find on him down in the description box down below. Now, the cardstock in this deck is a lot thicker, and it is also gloss finish. Here's a side-by-side comparison with the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. So these cards do shuffle really nicely. Again, they are on the smaller side, so these cards are going to be perfect for clarifying and laying with larger tarot cards. One thing that I really like about this deck is that it does have shadow aspects. So there are things like false person, message of concern, just to really help you when it comes to not only the positive things in your life, but the negative aspects as well. The pictures are stunning. I'm absolutely excited to use this deck in future readings. So be on the lookout for this deck in your next Zodiac reading. Let's see how these bad boys shuffle and move around in the hands. Now, normally when I buy a new deck, sometimes the cards stick together. I'm not having that issue here. They glide fairly easy. There is a little bit of restriction. Now, especially when it comes to shuffling, they're a little bit harder to shuffle because it is a harder cardstock. Retail value, $22, and that's on Etsy. I'll plug in that link down below and anything else I can find as well. Again, all in the description box down below. Thank you guys for checking out this video. I hope that it helps you when it comes to purchasing this deck in the future. With that being said, fam, show me some love. Make sure you guys are smashing that subscribe button, smash those thumbs up. I love you guys. Namaste, and I'll catch you next time.